guys, I am the CHALL, your channel for Doncaster Rovers content, and welcome to today's edition of the DRFC Daily Reports, bringing you the latest news, reviews, transfer activity and also rumours from Doncaster Rovers Football Club. Now you can go and check out all the videos that we've done over the last few weeks. Great collaborations with the likes of our new right back, Charlie Seaman, AFTV, the big Arsenal fan TV fan channel with Robbie. We chatted to him about both Arsenal and Rovers. We've interviewed Thogdad in the past, so there's a load of content already on there with loads more still to come. Now, this episode of the DRFC Daily Reports, of course, Doncaster aren't playing today. However, that does not mean I don't stop with looking at the League 1 and League 2 scores and tables. Now, I'll also be predicting next weekend's games, which includes Doncaster Rovers against Portsmouth. And as well as that, we're going to be taking a look at a free press report about some fans' worry about playing a loan signing if it's in their contract, and they've actually come out and set the record straight about that. So before we get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss a YouTube video. Of course, England are playing Belgium tonight, so I'll be doing a review of that as well. And for now, let's get into talking about the scores. Now, starting off with the third tier of English football, EFL League 1. Gillingham 3, Oxford United 1. Accrington Stanley 2, Rochdale 1. Blackpool 1, Ipswich Town 4. Crewe Alexandra 3, Wigan Athletic 0. Lincoln City 1, Bristol Rovers 2. Northampton Town 0, Peterborough United 2. Plymouth Argyle 2, Burton Albion 1. Portsmouth 2, MK Dons 1. And Swindon Town 0, AFC Wimbledon 1. So looking then at the league table, Ipswich remain top of the league. We'll go up to the top of the league, shall we say. Lincoln City go behind by a point. Hull City, of course, losing 4-1 to Fleetwood last night in that massive clash there. So Hull City are in third. Gillingham make up the fourth spot after their victory. Peterborough and Accrington are in there in fifth and sixth. And Sunderland, Plymouth and Portsmouth make up the rest of the top 9. A club that could be moving into the top 9 once they play next weekend is Doncaster Rovers, with their 7th points and 11th place. AFC Wimbledon ahead of them by a point. Bristol Rovers, Crewe, Fleetwood, Swindon, Wigan, Charlton and Rochdale make up the rest of that top 8 in the second half of that table, or second third. And the third of the table includes Northampton and Shrewsbury, but the relegation zone is made up of Oxford, Blackpool and Burton, with MK Dons still at the bottom on 2 points. So let's speak first of all about League 1. So some big scores in there. Gillingham with a big victory over Oxford very early on. Obviously, you guys will have seen the highlights from last night's clash with Fleetwood and Hull. Big win for Fleetwood, and they've done really well with that team, Joe Barton. And Hull City, I mean, they beat League 2 promoted teams, but they can't beat Fleetwood. So, Fleetwood are ruthless against Hull City. So Hull will have to be very careful when they play them at the KCOM Stadium that they don't end up having a repeat of that particular fixture. But this is the true test now for Hull City. They can beat the promoted teams and the teams that are not really favoured in League 1. But the true test is beating the big teams in the league. Fleetwood are growing in to be a big team in League 1 now. Accrington could reach that stage in the future. Peterborough, Sunderland, they won against Sunderland in the Cup on penalties, but in the game, there were signs of, negativity in the whole way that they play, and it was on show against Fleetwood last night. Of course, big result for Peterborough away with that 2-0 win. Very good win for them. Accrington's result against Rochdale, very good for them as well. Accrington really proving people wrong now, and some good results overall in League 1. Very big stuff from there. Now, let's talk about League 2, and first of all, we have to look at the full-time scores. Barrow 1, Leyton Orient 1. Bolton Wanderers 0, Grimsby Town 0. Cambridge United 2, Newport County 1. Cheltenham Town 2, Crawley Town 0. Mansfield Town 0, Stevenage 0. Oldham Athletic 2, Morecambe 3. Port Vale 0, Carlisle United 1. Salford City 2, Tranmere Rovers 2. Scunthorpe United 1, Forest Green Rovers 4. Southend United 2, Exeter City 2. And Walsall 1, Colchester United. As the rain falls down outside my window, let's have a look at the League 2 table. And by 2 points after the first 5 games, Morecambe top of the league. I didn't think I'd be saying that this season. Morecambe top of the league by 2 points. Cambridge and Newport still chasing behind them. But of course Cheltenham can go level on points with Morecambe if they get a victory in a game in hand. Salford, Forest Green and Carlisle make up the rest of the playoff spot, with Exeter getting that draw against Southend United just outside those playoff spots, with Colchester behind as well. In the second third of the table, Port Vale starts off the top 8 from 10th to 18th, with Harrogate involved in that selection of 8 clubs. Bolton down in 18th with 4 points out of 5 games. Not the best of starts for new manager Ian Evatt. And finally, Scunthorpe, Barrow, Mansfield and Southend make up the top 4 of that last 6, with Grimsby and Oldham on a point. Grimsby with 2 games in advance, by the way, due to those COVID cases, obviously postponing those 2 matches. But Grimsby back in action with a 0-0 draw with Bolton, and Oldham Athletic with the loss against Morecambe making up the final relegation spot. So big results there from League 2. Now this one is a big one as well, because you've got to look at that and think, well, hang on a minute, Morecambe are really surprising us right now. And big well done to the team at Morecambe. They're doing a fantastic job. Got to keep it grounded because it is still only 5 games into the season. But Morecambe could show people that they are not here to be messed around with today. And they weren't. They got a nice 3-2 win over Oldham Athletic. They did show some signs. I think Oldham were really, bouncing back off that win against Doncaster in the EFL Trophy match. But Morecambe were just too good for Oldham on the day, and Morecambe really proving people wrong. Cheltenham in the playoff hunt, Forest Green with a massive victory over Scunthorpe United, and really proving people wrong again. Forest Green in that playoff hunt, they're going to be a big team in my opinion, especially if they get this new stadium. I really want to see Forest Green with a brand new stadium. I think Morecambe, if they get promoted to League 1 and start making themselves a renowned League 1 club, they could have a nice new stadium in the future as well. I think there's a few clubs that if they keep progressing like this will need new stadiums to keep up with the standards and build up the club from the ground up. And one club that surprised me today was Southend getting a nice point against Exeter City, who of course one of the playoff hunters and one of the promotion favourites. Exeter City falling off at the wayside against Southend with a 2-2 draw, and Exeter are going to need something to bounce back in their next fixture. So that is the League 2 fixtures and the table, and the League 1 fixtures and table. Of course, nothing about the Championship today because, of course, it is the 2-week international break. England, of course, playing tonight, which is fantastic. And, yeah, let's talk about now our predictions for League 1 next weekend. So that it does include Doncaster against Portsmouth, but let's predict some of the other games going on that day. So starting off with Tuesday the 13th of October, it's the game in hand for Crewe Alexandra and Oxford United. They're playing at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, and this one's going to be a big one here because I think Oxford, coming off the back of that, looking at the results today, Oxford, you've got to look at what they did with the 3-1 defeat to Gillingham away from home. So they need to bounce back against Crewe Alexandra. But Crewe beating Wigan 3-0. Very shocking result for Wigan. But Crewe need to really use that as momentum. And I think this could be Crewe's foray. This could be Crewe's absolute bounce back, as Little Mix would say. But I'm thinking a 3-1 win for Crewe. I think it's back-to-back 3-1 defeats for Oxford, and they're not starting this season off well, are they? Let's go in then to the Saturday kickoff. So, of course, at 1 o'clock we have MK Dons against Gillingham. This one is a good one because I'm going to predict a 3-0 win for Gillingham. I think MK Dons are trying to play good football, they're just not getting the results. And I think that with other teams being just as good, if not better, I think that MK Dons are going to struggle again in that game. So I think it's going to be an easy win for Gillingham here. AFC Wimbledon versus Shrewsbury Town. Again, this is an interesting one. Of course, Wimbledon, just today, in fact, winning against Swindon Town. And Shrewsbury Town, of course, not playing today because they were going to play Rovers because that game has been postponed. So they've got a nice game in hand to work with. So Wimbledon and Shrewsbury need to use the time to bounce back and to keep going. And Wimbledon need to use the victory's momentum. So it could be either one of the way, to be honest. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, but I think it will be a tough one. Bristol Rovers Burton, easy one for me. I think this is a 2-1 win for Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers getting the nice victory, a really underrated victory against Lincoln City, one of the promotion favourites very early on. And Burton Albion getting another defeat in this game, in my opinion. And I think that Burton Albion will really be in trouble, and I think it will only be a matter of time before Jake Buxton gets the sack. Charlton Wigan, this one's an interesting clash because of course Charlton with the new owners now, they're going to start building momentum with fantastic new signings and hopefully get the results to show for it. And Wigan Athletic, very interesting from their point of view, of course lost 3-0 today to Crewe, so again it's going to be very interesting. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 Charlton victory. I think it will be difficult though. Crewe versus Blackpool, so Crewe playing Tuesday and Saturday. Crewe versus Blackpool. And this one's going to be an interesting one as well because Crewe, if they win against Oxford like they won against Wigan, they're going to have to come off with momentum. And Blackpool are going to need something as well after the defeat by Ipswich today. So I think that Blackpool need to bounce back from that, but Crewe could be on a momentum shift. So it's very difficult to predict this one because you don't know how Crewe Oxford's going to go, and that might decide what happens with Crewe Blackpool. But I think Crewe will win this one, but it will not be comfortable. I think we're looking at a 2-1 win here for Crewe. Fleetwood Lincoln. Fleetwood coming off a massive victory against Hull, but Lincoln need to bounce back. So again, a very tough one for me. But I'm going to go with Fleetwood winning 2-1. I think Lincoln's back-to-back defeats will just show they need the momentum back. Ipswich Accrington, very easy one for me. I think a 3-1 win for Ipswich. I think Accrington will try, but they will just fail. But Accrington won't take this lightly. I think they will bounce back in the next fixtures. Peterborough Oxford United. Again, if Oxford loses against Crewe again, then they need to bounce back against Peterborough. But Peterborough are showing some fantastic signs this season. So I'm going to look for a 2-1 Peterborough win. It won't be 3-1, but it was 2-1. And I think that Oxford may still come back fighting. Plymouth Northampton. Again, this is a very interesting one. Two League 2 promoted teams going off against each other. And we're looking here, in my opinion, at a 2-0 Peterborough victory. Portsmouth Doncaster, I'm going to leave that one for Friday's preview next week. Rochdale Hull, easy one for me. Hull will bounce back, 2-1 win. And finally, Swindon Sunderland. I think this is going to be a 2-2 draw because Swindon will come back very much in the fighting spirit. So there we go, that's predicting the score. So like I said, the Doncaster-Portsmouth score at Fratton Park will be previewed on Friday with my predicted scoreline for that. But that is your other scores. That's looking at League 2 and League 1, of course. It will be the same again in next week's match day, end of match day daily reports episode. We will be looking at just League 1 and 2 because the Championship will still be on a break, as will the Premier League. But let's have a look at this final report then to end the video, give you a bit of Donny news. And this is a report from the Free Press talking about Darren Moore rumoured to be forced to play the loan players as part of an agreement in the contract, but the owners and the people in charge of the club have come out to the Free Press and set the record straight. Gavin Baldwin, the CEO and Chief Executive of Rovers, have insisted that Doncaster Rovers would never enter into an agreement that would force Darren Moore to play a loan signing. Baldwin revealed to the Free Press that the financial burden of 3 of Rovers' current 4 loans does reduce with the more game time each of the player receives. However, he says that any conditions attached to loans are of no concern to Boss Moore, with the playing budget designed to cope with whatever level of fees are ultimately owed to parent clubs. His official comments to the Free Press stated as follows: on 3 of the players we've got an agreement on a loan fee, but if they hit certain criteria then the loan fee reduces. We've taken a sensible view of how many minutes we think each individual will play when we set the budget. But equally, if that player doesn't play, we've allowed a tolerance within the budget that means we can cope with it. And so Darren is never in a position where a player has to play regardless of form or injury. We've set ourselves the higher level of expenditure to the club, and if it comes in less, that's really helpful and could help with conversations in January, for instance. We're comfortable with the deals and wherever they come out and the payments needed. Therefore, Darren doesn't feel that he has any player in the team. Now, of course, he said negotiations over conditions will be added to loans take place between himself, talent identification manager Adam Henschel and counterparts at the parent clubs. And Baldwin and Henschel are under strict instructions from Chairman David Blunt not to agree to anything that would force Moore's hand in selecting the team. So big story there, and I like how the chairman is not forcing Darren's hand with this. I like how the chief executive and the talent identificational leader, the manager, Adam Henschel, and the chairman are not trying to put Darren in a tricky position with the loanees. Of course, Tulloch, he is out for about 3 weeks. He's been out for a couple of those weeks now, so I think Portsmouth will probably be the last game he is out, and they'll ease him back in for the next game. Hopefully we can get that pace back then. And I definitely do think that, you know, I like the way the board's treating Darren Moore here. They're not trying to force him to play him despite form or injury. They're letting him have the freedom with the loanees, and I like how they're not forcing his hand in a way, like they said there. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to keep our eyes on the loanees, because Richards has shown good signs, John-Jules has shown good signs, Bursick has shown incredible signs since he's been in the team, and, you know, you've got to look at Tulloch since he's been here. He's been magic feet since he's been here, so I think that he's got some good signs as well. So I think that, you know, John-Jules, Tulloch, Bursick and Richards show incredible signs, and I think there's no, you know, restriction on how much they play, or if they go out of form you have to play them no matter what. There's no restrictions on that, and I like how they're counter-arcing this. They're not trying to hide it away. They're not trying to sweep the issue under the carpet and cause some kind of divide in the fan base. They're coming out and setting the record straight, so I like what they've done, what the owners have done with that. So there we go. That is it for this video. Make sure you tune into the next DRFC Daily Reports, which is probably tomorrow, with some more news from Rovers. For now, guys, I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel, and for now, goodbye.